This message is initiated by Eleggua, but there are other Madala beings joining in and adding to it throughout. But the last thing that I wanted to say on behalf of the tricksters is there are certain demonic tricksters who specifically prioritize mooching off the pre-established identity of not only well venerated and well known, but actually divine, truly divine Madala, spirit guides, orishas, and even ancestors. So, with that being said, I had a conversation with Eleggua, and he told me that there was a specific demonic trickster in my energetic field who specifically perverts his Elegua's identity and mooches off of it to mislead me and confuse me and just do dark things in my life. And that this trickster was, I just now recently really being as of these past few months, but I just now recently discovered that this being that is mocking Elegua to fulfill a demonic mission was able to feed off of the dark workings that you did for me, right? Or did to me, rather, not for me, right? So I discovered this by way of certain events happening, right? And my Madalas, the one of the biggest things that they wanted me to work on was getting to a point where I accepted and understood that all things that happen to me from the spiritual realm, from spirit beings, are not all divine. Now, this doesn't mean, this example is not necessarily pointing towards, oh, I heard a spirit and I got a download, so it comes from a divine being automatically. No, I would say, while I was in connection with you, that's something that I had already knew and accepted, right? And was growing to really firmly stand on and integrate. I'm talking about when it comes to lessons, when it comes to synchronicities, when it comes to patterns and actual events happening that are oriented in a certain fashion to appear to me to be divine, right? These demons want me to think these events are divine. These tricksters want me to, but they are not. And I was really burdened in my relationship with Eleggua and a lot of, well, pretty much all of my Madalas, because the first reason they want me to tell you is because of your own confusion and how you took knowledge, true divine knowledge, and you perverted true divine knowledge, or you used true divine knowledge as a nucleus, a platform to venture off into lower realms and, from that create lower, more low vibrational energy and information, and thus deliver, transfer that energy and information to me, confusing me about what things are divine, what things should I expect to experience in my connection with my Madalas, and what things should I not, right? So this trickster, he came up in one of the readings I got from someone else before I was able to access my psychic gifts, before God allowed those gifts to open for me. He came up in one of the readings that I purchased from someone, and that was really the marker point of my Madalas trying to expose to me, like, hey, like, there have been beings, not from originally from your point of view, your perspective, but from the perspectives and point of views that you've inherited from Jada. They, since you have inherited them, they have played off of that and now gotten closer to you, used us in Eleggua, used our image, basically, our facing, to be able to do certain demonic things to you. And this is what's causing friction between you and us. You know, we love you. There are certain things we'll never do to you. And they didn't directly tell me you have to get to a point where you need to, like, let certain ideologies and narratives go that you inherited and learned from Jada. But it was like they were guiding me and coaching me to get to that point on my own by merely revealing certain truths. And even as certain things were happening to me from beings who acted like they were loving Madala ancestors and from Elegua's trickster, demonic, well, I don't want to call him Elegua's, but the demonic trickster who presents himself to be Eleggua, as those things were happening to me, I can't even say it was my subconscious mind. I would say, like, I would consciously say, like, this shit is not right. I would give a logical response to why it was unhealthy and not conducive to my healing and heightening my vibration. But because I kind of had formed a sense of Stockholm syndrome, it was hard for me to actually detach from them and not think that I was sabotaging myself by not just taking them as they were, by wanting a better experience for myself. I always told myself the things that you told me, which I was being too sensitive, I was being too emotional, I was being immature, and all these other things. I always told myself those things, and by telling myself those things, I left doors open for me to continue to be abused and demonically cornered. So, when I was under demonic attack, um, some point in time within the past year, I had started to see these synchronicities with red and black cars, in a very excessive manner, like to the point where if someone else was with me, they could see like something is going on. Like, this is not no delusional assumption or, oh, that's just your perspective. Like, it's very evident that the amount of red and black cars that I'm seeing is like, it's not normal. Um, but it's not that I would just see the cars, it's that they would come after certain demonic events happen, specifically demonic events that were meant to be posed or meant for me to interpret as divine events or divine karma or dharma, or, you know, me getting reprimanded for having done things that I quote unquote shouldn't have done, right? They wanted me to see it as like a confirmation of punishment, but it was fully demonic, and I had to learn that, you know, it wasn't from my mandalas, and I just didn't deserve certain negative experiences like you tried to make me believe. But out of nowhere, like, my subconscious mind and my conscious mind just merged, I guess you could say. Like, because I already knew this shit, but I was like, I just kept going back and forth and being doubtful of myself because of the amount of trauma, the amount of psychological and spiritual abuse that I experienced. And I just had this boldness and this audacity within me one day to say, stop using Eleggua to represent your demonic fuck shit. Stop using him as a cover up. Stop it. Stop doing that. And I just felt like I don't remember if I got an actual energy confirmation from my Medalas or if they said anything to me or anything like that or not. But I just remember it just feeling so right and it feeling so much like what they wanted me to realize. It was like, Jonice, come on, yes. This is what, well, Iwazi, I have to keep remembering to call myself by my divine name. But Awazi, this is what we've been trying to tell you. Yes, come on now. Like, I just felt that it was true and it was right. And when I accepted that it was, I think I did ask my Medalis afterwards. And when they kind of like passively confirmed it, and I say passively because they confirmed it in a way to where we're going to halfway give you the answer, but we want you to pull yourself the rest of the way and trust your intuition. When they confirmed it, I just accepted it. But even after I accepted that it was demons trying to pose as him, I still had a hard time healing from that trauma. And it was hard for me to reform a relationship with Eleggua and my Mandalas. Like I was still having a relationship with them, connected to them, and in love with them, but it was hard to really feel solidified and assured within that relationship because of the amount of lies and damage. So what I pretty much had to realize on behalf of the tricksters, but just in general regarding the spiritual warfare I received after exiting connection with you. And you got to think about how I exited connection with you. You can take, the things I said or the things you claim I did, however you want to take it. But there comes to a point where what's on paper is on paper. And we can go back and look at the text messages, and I never disrespected you at no point in the conversation. You perverted my messages into, I can't even use the word pervert because I don't even think you were delusional about what you were actually seeing and reading. I think you just wanted me to accept this image and this not character, caricature, character that you wanted me to be. You wanted me to mindlessly accept it so that you could get away with murder, so that you could get away with with a lot of things, but primarily I feel like just the lack of balance and the lack of accountability and the lack of giving me room to exercise my own autonomy within a connection that's only supposed to be professional in the first place. like, and I'm being guilt tripped about my decisions, all this stuff. But however you claim to feel, you can't deny what's on paper. You can't deny the plain and simple logic of the things that I said in our last text messages. And in our last text messages, I like, you can go back and see, there was no disrespect. There was no disrespect. It was respect up until the point where I was being stonewalled. And even after that, like, no. Even after that, like, I didn't disrespect you. Now that I'm remembering correctly, I remember being passionate and being like, I'm not gonna disrespect you, but this is fucked up or some shit. And then telling you all the ways in which it's fucked up. And it's like, you preach these principles, but you don't really do a great job at adhering to them, because when you're faced with them and someone is bringing something to you from, going by the same principles that you preach, somehow, because it's coming from a different angle or a different person or different perspective, it's automatically incorrect. Like, it's only correct when it's coming from you, right? And what it made it easy, I don't want to say what made it easy, but the reason why my madalas allow some of whatever it is you put in the cauldron, the pot against me, they allow a percentage. They're giving me a download right now. They're saying, do not, they're telling you right now, they're saying, do not get to thinking that we favor you over our child. And this is not a matter of, oh, well, these are my ancestors versus your ancestors, my family versus your family. This is a matter of my soul has more divinity than yours, and you are a demonic soul, and you know that you are a demonic soul. And this is God coming through this message, I feel, and saying, you don't run shit. Demonic beings never ran shit. And we only profited off of your conjure to the small percentage, to the only in the capacity of me needing to heal my Stockholm syndrome by way of the demonic attack. Aside from that, and in regards to all of the other unwarranted and undeserved things that you manifested from me, my mandalas are saying this is not coming from Jonice's ego. We are telling you this, Jada Epps. And on behalf of all of those things that came from your own dark energy that you did not hold yourself accountable for, that came from jealousy, you wishing things on me that I didn't deserve. I'm also hearing poor sportsmanship, like things not going your way in regards to our connection, like you not getting what you want from me. I don't know if this is in relation to me not investing in your business at certain times, or in relation to me not listening to you, like wanting to do my own thing, because I was divinely meant to. They're saying you don't get to get rewarded for being in demonic energy. You don't get rewarded for being in shadow energy, no matter what extent you go to transmute it. You're still demonically transmuting it. You're not divinely transmuting it. You're not healing. You're deflecting. And you don't get a reward for that. You don't get a cookie for that. You don't get a ribbon or a pat on the back for that. And you're going to eat the shit that you sent to me that I didn't deserve. Times 10, I'm hearing. But I'm going to be transparent because I am divine and I don't deflect. I take accountability. I love myself. I love my madalas. And I know that things are not, like, that's another thing with you too. Like, you over amplified and magnified things to a low vibrationally radical degree. Like, somebody's conjure can hate you to an extent, but only to the extent that's needed. Like, do not get elated and think that you got the victory that you wanted, because you didn't. And you won't. And this is something that is not coming from my ego. Again, I'm feeling God and my mandalas come through this message to tell me this, to give to you. But I needed to heal believing that you were all right and that you were more divinely favored than I was, and that I would be nothing without you. And somebody is telling me to give you another message as well. Hold on. They're talking about God, right? They're talking about God in this message. And I'm just feeling, ooh, I'm feeling the energy of like dark, defensive, divine justice, right? That's what I'm feeling. This is not on no competition shit. This is just a matter of what's wrong and what's right. Period, point blank. That's all. But what I'm feeling is my mandala saying, you thought that you could take God's place in my life. You wanted to take God's place in my life. You wanted me to put you and the demons that you venerate and the low vibrational principles and ideologies that you venerate. You wanted me to put those things over God, God's self. You wanted that. And you passively reinforce low vibe codependency all throughout our connection, by making me feel inferior and pinning mental illnesses on me for simply disagreeing with you, for having a different perspective, for wanting to go my own way. And the thing about solitude, Jada, is when you are in true divine solitude, God streams through you. It's automated because you're a divine being and your soul is most relative to the Most High. So I can be feeling God, I can be in touch with God, and I can say something that sounds so mundane, so commonplace, even colloquial, and it be God coming through that. I can do something. I can take a certain path it can even be driven from more earthly, egoic things, but in a divine way, and it be connected to God. So I don't have to have direct back and forth communication with God to feel God through myself. But being in solitude is one of the most important ways to do that, to get in touch with God. And you stripped me of my solitude, but you had to preach about it as you stripped me of it. Because if you just stripped me of it, you would have showed your hand. You would have taken off your cloak and you would have made it too easy for me to slip through your fingers. But yeah, to be very clear and very specific for your understanding, there was a lot that did not manifest from the things you tried to manifest for me. But as far as my internal world, there were illusions illusions and confusions that were able to manifest into my world in order for it to stress me out and anger me to the extent of breaking through them and getting to the other side, which is the divine truth. So God said, I'm going to plant these illusions into your reality, AOIZ, and I'm going to let them manifest, and you are going to see, you're going to get to a point where you believe in these illusions, right? You accept them, you inherit them, you orient your life around them to one extent or another, and then you just keep going and going in that, and it gets to a point where that illusion no longer works out. And you have to come back to square one. You have to come back to home base, which is me and your higher self. And you have to yet again ask yourself, what am I really meant to believe? Is this really true? Because this does not align. And you have to call a spade a spade. You can't keep trying to make shit align. That's not gonna align. That doesn't align. That doesn't feel and sound right. Just like how I was when I was in connection with you. You cut me off 3, 4 times. We keep getting back into connection just to keep arguing, just to keep going through the same toxic shit. And very early on, I had to remind myself it didn't take a long time for me to start getting signs that you weren't divinely the one. I started getting those signs like probably in less than a few months. My medullars are saying, give us more credit than that. Less than a few months of being your best friend, of getting to know you, period. It didn't take, this is not a thing of spite, Jada, and I want you to realize that. It did not take me a long time to get signs that you were a bad person and you had negative intentions for me and wanted to keep me out of my blessings. It took me a long time to be able to decode the signs, to be able to get in divine solitude, not escapism solitude, but divine solitude, and be worthy of accessing the psychic gifts and other gifts and blessings that I was meant for, so that I could be able to discern people like you, right? That's what took a while. They been put me on game while I was praising you, while I was buying your services, while I was kissing your ass and, you know, loving you and like family, for real, for real. They were all throughout that time, Jada, my mandalas were giving me dreams, telling me. Up until now, I recently got a dream of this. Hold on, let me rephrase that. I've been getting these dreams, right? And I've been getting these dreams for probably more than a year. I think it's been a little more than a year. And I didn't know what they meant. I just kept brushing them off. But it's like in all of the dreams, it's like this person, I'm not going to be explicit. But it's this person, right? They are trying to cloak themselves. They really care about cloaking themselves. But it's certain key factors that my mandalas allow to still be present so that I can have the rightful opportunity to still be able to decode them. Like, we're going to give AUIZ the grace she deserves to for it to actually be possible for her to get out of this mess, right? So it's certain indicators and stuff in the dreams, but ultimately I'm having dreams of this woman and she keeps having sex with me in the dreams. She's having sex with me in the dreams. She's siphoning my energy in the dream. She's doing demonic shit with me in the dreams. And it wasn't until literally a few days ago that I found out the woman was you. And of course you're going to deny this. I do not expect your honesty. I've gotten to a point in my relationship with myself where I'm able to validate myself and accept that you are probably never going to be honest with me. I've done that for myself. But I know that you've been doing very dark magic on me. I know that you've binded me to you. I know that you want me to come back into your life. And even if you don't allow me back into your life, you want me to crave you. I know that there's some type of romantic, sexual, it feels more demonically, it feels demonically charged than more like, oh my gosh, I have a crush on Janice, I still love her. It feels more demonically charged and intentful than that. But I know that there's some type of demonic energy that you have towards me, and it has been impacting my life to an extent. And my mandalas are reiterating only to the extent of you needing to, us needing to bring it to your awareness that this is actually happening. You needing to accept that Jada would go this far. Like, yes. Like, and that's another thing, Jada, too. Like, there were levels of grace. Even after I made those videos, those first exposing you videos that I made on YouTube, it was still a level of leeway, a level of grace room that I gave you. And that in and of itself was a part of the illusion. Whatever poppy seeds and confusion energy that you put into the jar, into the pot when you were manifesting against me, that little bit of grace allowed that confusion to persist. And I had to get to a point in my self-love where I just trust and love myself, and not only myself, but God and my mandalas enough to know that this is what it is. Right? I had to get to a point where I just say to myself, there's only so much grace you can give someone who's already gone so far. Right? So if you can take an inch, you can damn sure go a mile. And as much as you lie, as much as you associate yourself with divine terms that you don't actually live by in real life or live properly by in real life, as much as you do those things, I have to know that God wouldn't just keep allowing. God wouldn't put you before God. God wouldn't put me in a position to put you before me. And God has allowed certain illusions to persist on behalf of our previous connection. And not just on behalf of it, but in other areas of my life, not as severely, but in other areas, to prove the point to me that I need to stop giving people the grace that I deserve. And I need to stop projecting my divinity and my worth and my divine potential onto other people so excessively at that, without reason at that, without warrant at that. Like, Jada, you know, you know that the type of person you are, you don't have a warrant for me to project the amount of light and potential that I have onto you. Just look at how balanced and grounded I'm being in messages that I am sending to you right now. Even in the exposing videos, I might have been more passionate and elated about the topics, but it was still backed by facts and things that I actually discussed with you. I wasn't just talking out of my ass and pulling shit out of thin air. You couldn't even give me that, so why the fuck would I give you even a wee bit of grace, even after knowing you hexed me and did other shit in the dark, in the shadows? Why would I even give you after that the wee bit of grace to believe that you wouldn't do some type of sex magic spells on me, some type of come to me domination spell? Why would I give you that? Why? And I had to apply this lesson to other areas of my life and really stand into my power and really not give people access to me, because I know you're gonna deny this shit because you hate that it's me and it's not you. But I know that you see my light, and I know that my light is like no light that you've ever seen. If you think that you've seen anything close to it, my Madalas are giving me this message right now. They're saying you've seen more superficial, watered down, demonically, demonically inflated versions of a divine, beautiful energy like mine and a light like mine. But you ain't never seen a light like mine. You've never encountered a being as divine and as forthcoming and honest and willing to heal, willing to love, deeply loving, just all around amazing. You never seen anybody like me. You never come into any soul like mine, not even your own. And that's quite sad, but it's the fucking truth.
So, what else, Madalis? Or Eleggua? Feeling the energy of hurt. Feels more like my hurt and my anger. And they're pretty much, he's saying you're gonna pay for the bitterness and anger that you caused me to experience unwarrantedly, and that you caused me to experience by way of intentionally confusing me from a place of having nefarious demonic reasons, and from a place of okay, this is what he's saying. He's saying that you prioritize ego so much throughout your journey of spiritual navigation and obtaining knowledge. Notice I'm not using wisdom, because you don't have a lot of wisdom like you think or want to think. But you prioritize ego so much that it kind of narrow-minded you, right? Just think about it. Think about having a narrow mind. I don't know if you can see my hands, but think about having a narrow mind, and think about having a divinely balanced and open mind, right? When you have a narrow mind and you're fixed on attaining certain energies and feelings as you pursue knowledge and wisdom, you're only going to get so much knowledge and wisdom no matter which distance you virtually travel. I can travel, you can have a narrow mind and go 100 miles. And I could have a divinely balanced and open mind and go 50 miles or even 30 miles, and I will still have obtained more than you on a both knowledge and wisdom scale, and just pure evolution scale, because I'm not only obtaining for the sake of my ego, right? But when you go that distance, when you go such a distance with a narrow mind, you're only able to, first of all, you confuse yourself. I want to talk about that first. You don't you don't take what it is you really need from the distance you obtain. You only take what it is that you want. And when you leave certain things out, when you stop making certain things fundamental, or you never made it fundamental in the first place, and you only hold on to the gems that look the prettiest to you or that are the most comfortable to your ego, you you at that point you are corrupt. Because in order to be able to not only divinely hold certain knowledge and wisdom, but understand what it is that you're holding, and understand the depth of it, and understand the caveats of it, and understand the nuances of it, you have to have a divinely open and balanced mind. But because you're only fixated on the aspects of it that fancy you, you dish out stuff and you preach things and you hold on to things without even really understanding what they mean. And a part of those things or aspects included spirits. A part of that included spirits. And I also feel like I meant to say a part of that included magic. A part of that included what I and you and anybody else should expect and not expect from the universe. That's what I'm feeling. One of my Madalas just said, "You're right on." So you can think you're a big dog. You can think you got one up on me. I'm, dishing things out to you that you don't understand. And I know this about this realm. And, just because you're secretive and just because, you know how to throw certain things in the pot. You know how to do certain things. You can think that you're a big dog. Excuse me. But the way in which you're doing it, it's like you're setting yourself a trap for your own karma, for one. That's number one, right? Like, your ignorance alone is you creating a bed for yourself to lay in. A karmic, demonic one. A bed of spikes. Let me stop. But on top of that, it's like you're dealing with someone who, even if I didn't know as much as I know now, I'm a very divine soul, and I know that you know that. You want to know how I know that you know that? Because I didn't know that you felt and got a glimpse into true divine realms when I came into your life. And when I came into your life, there were certain things that you would say to me that made me know at this time that you saw my light. You saw my soul. You saw the beauty and divinity of my soul probably when you first saw me. A lot of people actually see my light when they first see me. A lot of people. Even people I briefly interact with, like people at the store and stuff like that. But you saw it. You got a good taste of it. And that's why you were able to actually do magic that affected me. But you don't realize the way that you're throwing, the way that you're viewing and seeing things, the way that you, this is a download. The way that, the energy that you carry the knowledge with. So you can have divine knowledge and carry it with a certain energy. The energy that you carry it with is all setting up a trap for you to do things that backfire on yourself. And two, it's just keeping you stuck in confusion. And you're very confused. And I hate throwing out certain shit because guess what? You used to tell me, I was very confused. I was very psychotic. I haven't called you psychotic throughout this reading. Actually, I did call you mentally. I called the energy mentally ill. But if you want to take it as you, fuck it, take it that way. You used to call me psychotic. You used to call me delusional. You used to say I didn't know what I was doing. So it's like, I don't really like to see things like that, because I could see how it can be perceived as a tit for tat thing, and be perceived as coming from a low vibrationally grounded, convenient place. But at the same time, these are messages that are coming directly from spirits, and from higher divine spirits, for one. And these are messages that are backed by logic and actual patterns and accuracy that you cannot deny, even if you fucking want to. Even if you want to, just to save face, and just to, like, you know, continue to present yourself a certain way to me. I know the truth, and I know the patterns that have been confirmed to me. Like, it's so weird. I had watched one of your videos a time before, right? I'm not gonna say which video. Actually, it's been several videos I've watched before, and it's so funny how I was being demonically controlled, to where I would watch your videos and I would feel like they were right without proper and logical, not even just logical, but reasonable warrant, to feel like they were right and to feel like they were divine and resonant with me. And when I got out of connection with you, my mandalas had already started cutting some of those cords off. And I was just able to look at things more logically and really read into things, not because, oh, this is someone I like and this is someone I put on a superficial pedestal, but read into things for what they were, period, right? No matter how pretty the face is. I don't think that you're that pretty. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now that I'm not in connection with you, I don't know if you did. I really do feel as though you did some type of beauty hex or work on me, but your face changed to me. I'm sorry, like, you turned into a whole other person. And it's funny because when I first met you, or not first met you, but first came across your Instagram page, I was like, she's just okay. I remember saying that to myself out loud. And then all of a sudden, you become a deity in my life when I'm in connection with you. Like, I'm supposed to think that you look better than me. And I'm me. But when I got out of connection with you, so many cords that had been cut in so many areas. And I just went back to seeing you as the same that I saw you before you put work on me. And I'm like, yeah, she's not all that. But I'm just using that as reference to when, you know, I did put you on a pedestal. Like, I'm able to see past a pretty face, or someone having crystals, someone flaunting certain connectivity that they have, and see and sentiently feel the message for what it is. And I went back and I did that on your channel, and I realized that a lot of the things that you talk about, it not only doesn't resonate with me, but it doesn't logically check out with what I've been divinely given, with what very obviously works out in our universe, with just very basic and fundamental universal laws. And a lot of the messages that you give are unbalanced. You think that you're the master of balance. That's what this is coming from, my ego, but I know it's in alignment with what divine beings want me to tell you. You think that you're the master of balance. And I went and I watched one of your recent videos. I don't remember the name of it. It had something to do with realms and dimensions, right? And it has on the thumbnail like this yin yang sign. And I'm listening to the video. You're preaching about balance, this, that, and the third. And I'm feeling your energy. I'm feeling how you're speaking to the viewer. And I'm like, this is the opposite. Like, you don't even realize how you're preaching one thing, but your energy is saying the opposite. And some of the things you are saying are saying the opposite. You'll say prioritize logic, prioritize accuracy. First of all, you can be accurate without being logical. That's another thing too. I can feel something. I can feel like something is off. And it can come from a place of both egoic emotions, which ego isn't all bad. It can come from egoic emotions like, damn, this person triggered me and reminded me of my trauma. And simultaneously, as it's coming from my ego, simultaneously be my emotions being a bridge to intuitive information, to psychic information. That's not logical. That's not tangible. It can't be proven, but it's still accurate. You will prioritize logic over being emotional, and you low-key preach about that without even realizing it. And you'll try to add in balance. I still validate, I still this, that, and the third. I'm not saying, but then you'll proceed to say some shit that contradicts the balance you tried to add to save face and make yourself sound good. And yeah, my mandalas, they help me psychically navigate your videos. Like, I don't just listen to what you say, I also see, hear, and feel as I watch your videos. And I be feeling your energy in the videos, and it just feels unorganic for one. Like, it feels like someone trying to be a self-proclaimed spokesperson, or be a self-proclaimed motivational speaker, and do a really bad job at it, not just because you want to use your low vibrational speech to boost your ego and make yourself feel like you know all, and you're, one of the gatekeepers and authoritators of this universe, but also because the shit that's actually coming out, it doesn't check out. It's not balanced. It's contradictory. You'll talk about balance. That's what I was wanting to say. Like, you talk about balance throughout the whole video, right? You talk about, first of all, nobody should prioritize logic over emotion. Generally speaking, there are aspects and areas of life where logic should be prioritized over emotion, but not totally, it should never be a thing to where you're doing away with your emotion to suppress. You're suppressing your emotion and doing away with it, or avoiding and ignoring it to just be logical. And the reason why that is such a corrupt thing to say, because your emotions work with your logic to help you achieve accuracy. Your emotions work with your intuition and psychic sentience to help you achieve accuracy. And my mandalas are saying they agree with me. So for you to tell someone, like, it just gives a man up type vibes. Like a mom seeing her son cry and say, man up, be logical, deal with it like a man. That's like, what is a man supposed to manifest like? It's like you have very low vibe masculine energy, and you project that onto other people through your own confusion and corruption about divine principles. That's what you do. And you don't even realize, like, I be looking at your videos objectively. with along with the help of my Medalis, I don't, I would be like, yeah, this bitch, I don't like this person, but that's not my energy all throughout watching your video. I'll go to your channel because I feel divinely inclined to, because I could care less about you. Like, it's nothing you have that I want. I genuinely, Jada, I genuinely feel like I am the most divine version of you and every demonic being that exists within this universe. I genuinely feel like I am the better of you, okay? In the most divine way. Not the better of you, but the better than you. But period. But I'll watch your videos objectively, right? With my psychic sentience and emotion intact, because that's important to help me be able to understand what of that is reasonable, what of that is accurate, and connect it to other points in my being, right? But I'll watch it and I'm just feeling you. I'm feeling the energy that you're in when you're doing the reading. I'm feeling the energy that you're in as you're giving the messages. And I'm just like, this is not adding up with what you're saying. You a preacher that's not really integrating the shit that you preach. And this Eleggua saying this is what I don't like. Like, you'll preach about shit on my behalf and on other beings' behalf and on the universe behalf, but you're only the spokesperson. You're not somebody that's really about that life. You don't really hold yourself to the things that you preach. But it's not just about holding yourself to it. It's like you're also confused about what's coming out your own mouth, that you don't integrate it properly. And I feel like not being confused about certain divine concepts would help you, but it's like, it's gonna take much more than that. It's gonna take much more than that as well. You could start there, but yeah. Anything else? Because this her last message. She got a good little present. She getting good little presents from me. She got a whole hour video and then this. I'm enjoying it, but still. Anything else? I'm picking up on like jealousy. And my Madala said, you're not gonna take well to this message. Like, you're gonna be on some competition shit. And that's one thing. I hate going to lower realms or dealing with lower beings in and outside of the flesh and confronting them from, even if I confront them from a low vibrational place or a divine place, you're gonna take it in a low vibe way, because that's just the energy that you're in. And you are what, how do I put this? You want to be what I already am. You want to be what I already am. You want to be as divinely favored as I am. You want to be as accurate as I am. You want to be as balanced and as grounded as I am. And overall, you want to be as mature and as evolved as I am. I just saw the color blue, like, flash before my eyes. I don't know what that means. Somebody is saying I'm right. And somebody is saying a part of this has to do with intellect and I'm feeling how I communicate to people and something about my feminine energy. But you want to be what I already am. So imagine the person that you low key idolize. I don't even say low key, passively idolize and aspire to be, telling you that you're wrong, telling you that you're not just far from me, but the mere opposite of who I am and what I represent. Of course, you're not going to take well to that. Of course, whatever messages you send from this point on are going to be fueled by jealousy, by bitterness, by I'm feeling um aimless demonic competition. And another message that I'm getting for you is like, you're so focused on competing with me and just getting your lick back or having something to say back that you can't even take the time to really listen to what I'm saying and realize that regardless of whether you agree with everything or not, there's room for accountability. And I know for a fact that my messages are in alignment with who you are and what's going on in your internal and external realms. Your internal and external realities, rather. You may find ways to pervert and deny it or be overly technical to convince yourself of certain things or to maintain certain delusions. But there is no way you can deny this truth. So, yeah, I'm just getting like a very triggered energy from you. That's what I feel right now. Very triggered. And it's like, even amidst the trigger, in the back of your mind, you know that the things I'm saying are right. That's the energy I'm getting. But I'm hearing deny, deny, deny. Like your ego is gonna make you keep denying shit. It's like, oh my gosh, yes, that's what it is. It's like your urge to want to be right, and especially to want to be right in the face of me, is so much bigger than your desire to be honest with yourself and to take accountability. It's bigger than that. And it's like, just imagine a war, right? Imagine that feeling, that dark feeling, and that dark urge to compete is just beating the divine energy's ass. The divine accountability and honesty's ass. It's just beating their ass. And because it's beating their ass, the overt manifestation is retaliation and you just denying the shit that I have to say. Like, that's what's going on inside of your being right now. But I think, is that everything that y'all want to say to her before I cut this out? My medullars are just saying to me, you know you're right, Ayuwazi. You know you're right. They're saying you're gonna keep playing like you don't know the truth, but it's only important that I know that I'm right. I don't need your validation or your endorsement or your, yeah, I actually was struggling with this, or yeah, I don't need that. They're saying for me to just trust myself. So on that note, that's all I wanted to say to you. And yeah, bye.